Look at the latest coronavirus developments, and it's a very good morning once again to analyst Casey Briggs. Casey, g'day. So first of all, to these numbers from Victoria this morning. A lot of interest in what's happening in Victoria because of 2 days of significant numbers, and the health authorities down there saying those numbers were making them nervous. Would they continue to be nervous after seeing these figures from this morning?
I think so, Joe. Today's numbers are much like yesterday's. We're seeing some big numbers, but it's not just the fact that this is in the double digits, it's actually that there's a lot of community transmission included within those. Just before I do that, one note on New South Wales, 7 cases, all of them imported from overseas, so no community transmission in New South Wales, the NT, really anywhere else. Almost all of the cases of community transmission in Australia have been in Victoria now for quite some time, only with a couple of exceptions. 7 of these are picked up through routine testing, one of them still under investigation. So we've got 7 cases of unknown source today, 8 of them yesterday, 4 of them the day before. They are significantly higher than what we're used to seeing, particularly cases picked up in the community. So what's going on here? Well, it could be that this is a statistical blip, and we're just seeing by chance more than you might expect to see, and more than we've seen for the last few weeks. That is possible. It could also be the beginnings of the warning signs that we're about to see a much wider spread community transmission of this virus through Victoria. I don't think we know which one of those it is yet, but Victoria's got some restrictions lifting on Monday, some significant restrictions lifting on Monday, and I would have thought this would give you some pause to think maybe should we be doing that. The Victorian Minister who presented these numbers this morning did sort of say if we do have any changes to make, not that we're planning any yet, but if we do have any to make, you'll be first to know about them. You would have thought there'd be some nervous epidemiologists just wanting to hold off for a little bit longer just to see if those numbers do go down again, or if we should be worried.
Yeah, and when you compare that to what's happened in New South Wales over the last couple of weeks, putting aside other states and territories because there's been next to nothing in all the other states and territories for so long now, but New South Wales over the last couple of weeks, only like 2 or 3 cases of community transmission, weren't there, and so many return travellers testing positive.
That's right, and New South Wales has had higher testing rates as well, so you would have hoped if New South Wales had lots of community transmission, you would be picking it up in the testing. This is national testing rates. We did record 51,000, that's a new high yesterday. But New South Wales has consistently, not every single day, but as a trend, consistently been testing more people than Victoria. So yeah, I think there is reason to be a little bit concerned, as the Chief Health Officer in Victoria is at the moment, about exactly what's going on in Victoria. I don't think we've got a great handle on it.
Yeah, and just for people who watch these figures closely, Casey, can we explain, maybe you can sort this out yourself later on if you don't know it now, but yeah, with those numbers in Victoria this morning, they were dividing them, they were classifying some as found through routine testing, 7, and 1 requiring further investigation. Can you explain to us what the difference between those two is?
Yes and no. I think the routine testing is the testing that's done out in the community, as opposed to targeted testing when authorities are trying to track down known clusters and cases associated with those clusters. I should just caution, these numbers do bounce around a little bit in the first couple of days. They'll report cases, but maybe in a couple of days some of these cases will be linked to a known cluster and then they get moved into a new category. I don't know what this one case under investigation is. It may be that it's they're still doing further testing on this patient. I just don't know, and they don't tend to report the specifics of each case for privacy reasons. So they might change. Those numbers do change a little bit as time goes on. We just have to watch the trend.
Yeah, and interesting to see them still having issues with hotels, people who work in hotels around people who've come back as well. But we'll leave that issue there for the moment because we've got to move on. But Donald Trump is holding this big rally in Tulsa this weekend. I think that's in the state of Oklahoma, in the US, in a stadium. What are the concerns around that, considering the situation in the US at the moment?
Yeah, Joe, sorry, I mistakenly said Tulsa was in Florida a couple of hours ago. I think that's just because I was confusing this rally this weekend with the Republican National Convention next month, so apologies for that. But we're seeing increases across much of the south of the US. Oklahoma, we're seeing increases in coronavirus cases as well. And in Tulsa, we've seen this big spike just in the last week or so. About 100 cases, 100 cases yesterday, but that curve does appear to be growing in the lead up to a major campaign rally by the President of the United States. Whether that rally itself will have a huge impact, we don't quite know yet, but certainly the adherence to social distancing measures will be something we'll be watching very closely. The fact that the cases are growing there is a concern. I think we should watch Tulsa closely for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Okay, Casey Briggs there.